Welcome to About the Winelands. In this show, we will be chatting to leaders, influencers, wine producers, restaurants, and other role players. Tune in every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for your latest episodes. You will find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to About the Winelands. Today I'm talking to Willem du Plessis. Willem is the Marketing Liaison for Rustenberg Wines. Hi, Willem. Welcome to About
Hi,
the Winelands.
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for having us or for having me. I'm representing the farm, but thank you. It's a great opportunity and an honor.
You guys must be glad that you finally can get some of your wine out the door.
We are extremely thankful, and thank goodness we were able to export wines. Although that almost ran into a brick wall in the beginning of the lockdown. Firstly they said we can export, and then all of a sudden they blocked us from exporting wine altogether. But thanks to guys like Vinpro, who fought for us as an industry, we were very thankful that we were able to at least export wine and get some form of revenue.
So, thinking about that is your export chain. It's fine for them also to say you can export, but I was wondering, the logistic chain, things like getting labels or bottles or stuff like that. Was that a problem, or were you guys fortunate enough to be, they didn't create a bottleneck in your situation?
Well, it did create a bit of problems in the beginning, because they said we can export wine, but never thought about the whole export chain. Vinpro had to go and negotiate with the government again to say, listen, but those companies all form part of the whole chain, and we were able to export as usual.
Okay, amazing. So, Willem, how did you become involved in the wine industry?
Well, I've always been involved with marketing and sales and promotions in various industries. I moved down to the Western Cape 2010 after the Soccer World Cup, and I started to work for Roller Motors, selling cars. And as a result of that, over the weekends I spend a lot of time on wine farms, tasting wine, and I've always loved the industry, but never got actually involved. Don't know why. I was probably not mature enough, but got involved with wine tastings a bit more, and I was actually casual at Rustenberg Wines for a while before they gave me the opportunity to work there on a permanent basis. And that's how it got started. And like Murray said, I took like, what's that English saying, like a duck to water, something like that. But it came very natural to me, and I still love it. I love this industry, and I love wine in particular.
So your whole wine life, if I can call it that way, has been with Rustenberg.
Well, yes, the majority of it, I would say. There was a period that I worked for Ara Vineyards. They're close by Klapmuts, and I had a stint with Lusan when Lusan was still operational. It was a combination of Labonier, Uitkyk, Stellenbosch, Alto, and Netlingshof. So I jumped from various tasting rooms in those companies. Did a bit of casual work for them as well, but the majority was with Rustenberg, or is with Rustenberg.
Awesome. So talking about Rustenberg, can you share us a bit of history of Rustenberg? The farm has a very nice story around it.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the oldest wine estates in the country. We were established in 1682 already.
Wow.
So, Stellenbosch, the town, was established in 1679. So Simon van der Stel handed out land grants because he wanted Stellenbosch to be this agricultural hub for the Cape, to produce fresh produce and supplies for the passing ships. And the soil and the conditions closer to Cape Town and the harbour wasn't that great, but Stellenbosch had this absolute fertile soil. So he handed out land grants, and a guy by the name of Rudolf Passmann, he was a German from Meurs in the Rhine Valley. And he said, well, he knows a bit about winemaking from his family's origin. And Simon van der Stel gave him 50 morgen in those days. We still have the original title deed where Simon van der Stel signed it in 1682. And in 1692, actually, we still got the receipt where we sold some brandy.
Wow.
To a midwife in Stellenbosch. So for us to be able to sell brandy, we had to produce grapes, to make wine, to make brandy. So after that, it took off.
So that title deed and that brandy receipt might be worth more than the wine you produce.
Well, probably, yeah, it might. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And we want to keep it a close secret. Maybe one van der Stel family will come and do a land grab, claiming the land at a later stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where it all started. So over the years, we've produced wine, we've produced grapes, we experimented with a lot of fruit. We exported a lot of fruit in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then in 1941, Peter Barlow bought the estate. And currently his son and grandson, Simon Barlow and Murray Barlow, are the directors of the company. And they run the whole show. Simon is involved with the vineyard side of things, Murray with the cellar side and marketing. But they're a formidable team, and we all feel like family on the estate. So although it's a family-run business on their side, us as employees really do feel part of the family.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the whole family is involved. I mean, Murray's wife is our business manager, so she handles all the necessary details on the admin side. And she also is very much involved with the film crews that come and use our property for filming. And Simon's wife, Roseanne, she keeps a keen eye on the gardens. So she's running that side of the thing. So it is actually 100% fully driven family business.
Oh, that's amazing. So when a guest come to the farm, to the estate, what can they experience there?
We do offer wine tastings, and we've got beautiful gardens. We don't have a restaurant or a coffee shop or anything, but we love that because there's a lot of wine estates in the country that do offer that, and it's fantastic and it's wonderful. And I like to visit wine farms where we can have something to eat and sip on some wine. But we've got this old feel to the farm, and because it's a farm that's established in 1682, it does have an absolute rich history and heritage, and that aura of that history is on the farm. So it's very peaceful. The tranquility is absolutely phenomenal, and just to experience that in itself is, I think, a very positive attitude to the estate. So we offer wine tastings, although we don't do it anymore. Well, since lockdown, and we don't know for the foreseeable future when we will get back to doing wine tastings again, which we regret because we love people. We always say we want guests to arrive on the farm as guests, but we want them to leave as friends. So we want to embrace that family feel and that farm feeling on the estate.
Well, that's awesome. The gardens, you've touched on it quickly, but this is one of the features of your estate. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two gardens actually. The farm was split into two many years ago. So there was a Rustenberg portion and another portion called Skoongezicht. So as a result of that, we have two wine cellars, the Rustenberg wine cellar and the Skoongezicht wine cellar, and then two manor houses. So we have the Rustenberg manor house and the Skoongezicht manor house. So the Rustenberg manor house is the one that you see on the Rustenberg wines label. And the Skoongezicht manor house is the other one, and there we have the garden called Skoongezicht Gardens. But it's a fantastic English style garden that Pamela Barlow started many years ago when she arrived there with Peter Barlow. It just continued. It's absolutely gorgeous how they maintain the gardens. It's available and it's open to the public for visits any day. So you can come in, and we've got a labyrinth. So you can come and walk the labyrinth, or you can just bring a book, sit under the oak trees, the big oak trees, and read a book, or just sit and think about life in general. And then the Rustenberg Manor House garden is a private garden. It's the Barlow family lives there, so it's a private affair. But every year, the last weekend in October, they open up the garden. So we call it the open gardens, the Rustenberg Open Gardens, where we open those gardens for the public. And Roseanne makes some lovely scones and muffins and tea and coffee that you can enjoy on the lawn, and just experience, you know, what a farm feels like, with some rich history behind it.
Nice. You also mentioned that there's some filming taking place sometimes at the estate. So can you tell us about
Yes,
that?
so this, you know, I think Cape Town has become a very popular destination for Europeans and the majority of the Northern Hemisphere film producing companies, because we've got fantastic weather. I know Cape Town studios are doing so well with productions with foreigners, but you know, we get a lot of people that come and visit, especially in wintertime, and they need to do, for instance, a summer catalog on some clothing. They can't do that in England because the weather is terrible. So they do come to South Africa, and we've become one of more popular sites to do filming, because we've got 800 hectares of land, and very diverse, what do you call it, infrastructure in terms of, you know, the appellations of the vineyards. We've got the gardens, we've got farmland where we still have a lot of cattle roaming around. So there's so many options for film crews to use once they visit the estate. And we've got, I think, 8 or 9 dams on the farm. We've got fish eagles. The buzzards are flying freely in the mountainside. So it does give you a lot of variety in terms of film shoots, or even just still shoots.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're talking about the, you know, the wildlife there. I've seen that you have leopard sightings on the estate. That must be quite exciting.
That's really exciting. We love to see the photographs taken. Simon have put up cameras in the mountainside to capture all of that, just to make sure that, you know, everything's still fine and well. I think about 3 months ago, we caught them on camera with cubs, which was absolutely phenomenal to see. So they're doing well in the mountains, and you know, it's a scary thought to think that you're harvesting wine or harvesting grapes on the foothills of the Simonsberg, and there might be a leopard staring at you and making sure you're doing the harvest properly.
Is this in your mind when you're walking around on the farm ever?
Well, no. Those are on the upper end of the foothills of the mountain. So we only see them on the cameras.
Yeah, and they avoid people, right?
Absolutely. No, they're very skittish. And you know, there's a saying in the wild that leopard will see you before you see him. But one of our guys on the farm, Nick van Sale, in 2016, when we had the fires in the mountain, he was riding around with a quad bike on the farm to pinpoint strategic places where the fire started, and he was radioing that message back to base camp, and he came around a corner and he almost ran over a leopard once with that 2016 fires, because they had a big fright with the fires, and they came down very low towards the vineyards. But he says he doesn't know who got the biggest fright, him or the leopard. But it was a very, very interesting sighting.
It must have been a good experience, yes. So back to, the important stuff on the farm is obviously the wines. So can you tell us about the wine you're producing and also the winemaking philosophy of Rustenberg?
Well, we're producing a wide range of wines. And in the past, we used to be more well known for red wine production, but that has changed in the last 25, 30 years, where we've kind of tried to satisfy the market on both ends. So currently we've got a 55% red wine production and 45 white wine. So we've got a fantastic portfolio of wines. We've got 17 wines in our portfolio. And there's a very nice variety between Sauvignon Blanc, Chenin Blanc, Rosés, Merlot, Cab, Shiraz, Bordeaux blends, site-specific wines, Chardonnays that we specialize in. So we've got a lovely, diverse portfolio. But with all those wines in the portfolio, our whole focus and our philosophy about wine is we want to produce quality wines true to the style of the estate and the brand. And we will rather sacrifice quantity for quality. So quality is of utmost importance. In some years we produce a little bit more of a particular wine, and other years less. But we don't care about that much, as long as we can get the highest quality wines available for the public to consume.
I quickly want to share something exciting. I have heard via the grapevine that the Fishwives Club will be launching a new lifestyle club soon. If you have not heard of the Fishwives Club yet, just know that you are probably missing out on the sexiest wine label out there. To stay in the loop, please quickly go and follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is @thefishwivesclublifestyle. Let me repeat that, @thefishwivesclublifestyle. Now, on with the show.
Where are your wines sold?
Well, in South Africa, we make use of our website. Obviously, the tasting room sells some of the wine as well, but we are affiliated with Vinimark. So Vinimark distributes all our wines throughout South Africa to various liquor stores and restaurants. And then we export about 80% of our total production.
Wow.
So 80% of all our wines goes to Europe, the UK. When I say Europe, in particular, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, and Holland is our biggest markets over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole of UK and the USA and Canada. So we export quite a bit. And, that's one of the things with this lockdown that we were very thankful for, was the fact that we were able to export wine and create revenue. Otherwise, we would have been in dire straits.
Mm-hmm.
But then on that side, one of our big clients is Waitrose in the UK,
yes.
and Majestic Wines. And in Switzerland and Germany, we make use of Movenpick. So, and these are all long-standing relationships that we've had with these companies for years.
For guys like Movenpick, do you send out your own brands, or do you actually brand for them, or how does that work?
No, they sell our brand. So
Okay.
we bottle and label everything on our side, and then export the finished product. So we don't have anything in particular that we bottle for them.
Well, that's interesting. They're quite a growing brand there in that whole Swiss, German, and Germany parts of the world.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and they themselves are very diverse. From selling wine,
Owning
having hotel
hotels and
groups,
ice cream. Right? I love them. I love them. Movenpick ice cream. Actual facts. What's quite interesting. Though they part of their business was purchased by a Saudi group a few years ago. So
yes.
So that's quite interesting that a wine distribution are taking place from a country where they are not actually supposed to drink wine, right? Or the ownership's from there. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So interesting. So 80% of your wine goes to the export market. Do you think that's going to change a bit now with what do you think of the importance of the local market going to be with this whole thing that we have now with the lockdowns and Corona and everything happening?
Look, well, I think that's a major issue in South Africa, and it's sad to see that that the powers that be are short-sighted. You know, we are the only country in the world that has such strict lockdown regulations in terms of selling liquor. You know, selling liquor in the other parts of the world went about as normal during their lockdown phases. So I think for restaurants only to open at level 1 is going to have a major effect on the South African on-site consumption business. Cape Town in particular, and let's say the whole Western Cape, is an extremely popular holiday destination. Hotels, restaurants are the key here, and if they can't sell the product, you know, we're going to have a lot of trouble and a lot of issues in the long run. I mean, opening up with the phases that they are suggesting now, with limited days and limited hours in the day to sell liquor is terrible. I read an article this morning where they said that 80% of all liquors that get sold in South Africa is sold at taverns and shebeens. So if those guys are not allowed to sell liquor, we're going to have a huge problem. I mean, we think it might help us to open at level 3 to sell liquor, but it's going to create a huge bottleneck.
But I was wondering about level 3. Now that you mention it, you know, obviously they're going to. I see that they said they're going to allow bottle stores to open certain times, and I haven't seen any clear indication if there's going to be any special rules about online sales. Have you heard anything about that? I haven't seen anything from Winpro or anything.
Not at all. We are a bit in the dark about that as well, because there's no way that they can regulate online sales or limit it. I mean,
maybe they could limit delivery.
Impossible.
Maybe they could limit delivery times. I think that is.
They can maybe do that, but you know that just doesn't make sense. I mean, to order wine online and get it delivered by a courier company is probably the safest and healthiest way to get the product, because it changes hands just once or twice, or maybe 3 times. Where if you go out into the public, go to a bottle store or go to a liquor store and purchase wines, you're in contact with way more people than just buying the product online. So I think we're gonna change our models a bit. You know, we're already at 80% exports. That might grow a bit. I think we might send a bit more wine to the rest of the world in the near future. We're concerned about the local stuff as well. You know, we don't just want to export our wines. We want a lot of people to enjoy the wines. And although there's a lot of wine producers in the country that can fulfill that requirement, it's sad to see. And it's, you know, I think companies currently, or wine estates currently with wine clubs or with a already base of clients, are going to experience this phase a lot easier than those who don't, because it's easier to pick up the phone and phone Mr. Murray and said, listen, we still got your previous sale or your previous list of wines that you bought from us. Would you like us to just send you the same batch again? Whereas if you're sending your wine through distribution company to liquor stores, you have to open and wait and see whether somebody buys it.
Yeah, I can believe that's a problem. So are you thinking about making any changes in that regard? And you know,
well, we are going to, as I said earlier, we're going to have the tasting room closed. So the tasting room will be open for wine sales, but we won't do tastings. which I think is another great way for people to purchase wines. You know, rather go to the wine estates, go to the tasting rooms, buy your wine there, as opposed to standing in a long queue in front of a liquor store to gain access and buy limited quantities there. So we will definitely have to adapt. We have been looking at starting a wine club in the past, and we might just grab that file again and see whether we can get something going as a platform for our clients to purchase the wines online as well via a wine club. But no definite immediate changes that's going to be implemented now.
And in terms of your marketing, have you made any adjustments to that while everyone was in lockdown, even Europe and stuff like that? Did you market more, market less? What was your thinking, and what is your thinking going forward?
Our main focus during the start of lockdown was just to keep our heads above the water. So we didn't get involved with too much online marketing and direct client marketing. We tried to focus on what we have. It's easier to service a client that you already have than it is to look for more clients with limited access to resources. So we kept to our guns, and we decided to focus on the exports and the exports alone in this lockdown period. But that's where it ended. We didn't focus on any other marketing strategies. I think in future wine estates will have to look at that anyway. I think what lockdown did is showed us that the way we were thinking and selling products, not just liquor products, but products in general, has made a big shift in this lockdown period.
For sure. I mean, everybody have to rethink what they're doing. So, Willem, your wine journey has been quite interesting, and for certainly this year has been interesting. So, what is the most important thing that you've learned from your journey?
Oh, there's so many things, but I think to sum it up quickly is it's an ever-changing industry, and I'm not nasty or dissing beer or other liquor products, but it's much the same. Now, I know we have a lot of craft breweries and there's various different ways to make beer, but the ingredients more or less stays the same. But with wine, it's so diverse and it's so different. I mean, there's over 1,000 grape varieties that you can use to make wine with, and I think even wine wizards and wine connoisseurs won't be able to name 25. So it's so diverse and open and changing. You know, every vintage is different. Techniques differ on how you produce wine. I mean, you can take wine from one particular block, 1 hectare block. You can take the grape from that block and make a various of different styles of wine just by adopting cellar techniques or harvesting it earlier or later. So it's an ever-changing industry, and you learn every single day about this product.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I've always, I even visited whiskey distilleries in Scotland and stuff like that, and it's great when you visit. But like you rightly say, the ingredients are the same. And the moment I have a choice, and that's why I've never really got into any other, drinking a lot of other stuff. Is when I have a choice, my first choice would always be wine, because there's only so much alcohol you can drink. So it always goes back to wine because it's so diverse and there's so many wines to taste and drink. So I totally agree
absolutely.
with you. So on that note, I need to push you for your, you need to give us your very own wine quote or your favorite wine quote.
That's difficult. I mean, there's so many legendary wine quotes. But one I always revert to is, let's wine and dine without being a swine. I think that kind of covers what I feel that my philosophy is regarding wine is, drink it drink it responsibly, and enjoy it. It's such a lovely product to enjoy with others. Even if it's a taste or a particular cultivar that you don't like, you can still try it. And food and wine is basically the core of our existence. Not necessarily wine always. I mean, people prefer other drinks too, but wining and dining is our key, and you can enjoy it still, but don't get to the part where you pig out or completely lose it, or eat too much or drink too much. So I always try to keep that in mind when I enjoy life and enjoy wine and enjoy food.
Oh, awesome. So Willem, if people want to get hold of you guys and maybe want to place an order or get some wine or whatever, for some reason, how do they get hold of you?
They're more than welcome to visit our website, www.rustenberg, B-E-R-G, not B-U-R-G, but rustenberg.co.za. We have an online portal, online shopping facility. What is nice about the website orders is that you can purchase wines on our website that's not available in South Africa in the liquor stores.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you have the facility to purchase more than usual, apart from the wines that's available in the regular liquor stores and retailers. You can purchase other wines as well. Just as a teaser, there's a Petit Verdot rosé that we made years ago that we're only exporting, and it's a very, very unique rosé. Because we've used Petit Verdot, we're only one of 2 estates in the world that's using Petit Verdot to make 100% pure rosé. So that's exciting. So it's a fantastic way to purchase our product.
So, do you have any specials or anything running at the moment? Well, I must say most places are running with specials at this time.
We don't have any particular specials currently. I think as soon as we get word from government about the limited space and time that we have to sell products, and whether there's any limitations, I'm sure we will definitely have a look at that. But currently we don't have anything in writing.
Okay, awesome. So what we'll do is also we'll put the links to all of this down in the description. But Willem, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for spending the time and telling us, about your estate, your wines, the leopards, and taking the time. I know you guys are busy, so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, no, thank you so much. It's been an honor, and we love guys like you that promote wine and are keen on wine and the whole industry in itself. And maybe we can, with the next lockdown, we can get to a phase where wine is labeled as a necessity.
In my life, it's an essential service for sure.
And have it as an essential service, yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for supporting our show. If you would like to get more exposure for your business, please have a look at our sponsorship options. Thanks again for supporting About the Winelands. Please follow us on YouTube and on our social media channels. All details and links are in the description.